Welcome to our Essential Career and Hiring Guide trend session for 2023 and beyond. I'm Sam Jusel and I'm a business manager at Anderson Frank. I hope you've had a great day so far and are ready to learn more about the future of the NetSuite ecosystem. This presentation is designed to give you, employer or candidate, all you need to inform your professional choices moving into the following year. From hiring trends to certification information, there's something for everyone. So let's quickly go through what you can expect over the next 20 minutes or so. I'll introduce myself and give you a quick overview on what we do and who we are at Anderson Frank. I'll then cover the unique resource we'll be using for today, the Anderson Frank Careers and Hiring Guide, NetSuite Edition. To understand the future of recruitment, we need to understand the current working landscape for NetSuite professionals. Next, I'll talk you through some of the data we found in our latest survey and help you use this to inform how you navigate the talent market over the next year. Finally, we'll have a quick recap at the end with key takeaways and pertinent pieces of advice for both employers and candidates alike. So as I said, I'm Sam Jusel and I'm a business manager at Anderson Frank. I've been working at Anderson Frank for just under 5 years. I joined the business as a trainee and have thoroughly enjoyed the journey in working my way up towards business manager. The things I love about recruitment is that the people I meet and all the different challenges we face every day. Truly, no day is the same. The things I like about working with NetSuite is that the ecosystem is brilliant. We get to work on cutting edge technologies and help clients with specific requirements in a very niche skill set market. So who are Anderson Frank? Well, we're the world's leading NetSuite recruiter. Our main focus is NetSuite. We are committed to working with organizations around the world, helping to solve their talent problems on a daily basis. While we focus primarily on finance and accountancy professionals, we also work with more technical talent, such as functional consultants, technical consultants, NetSuite administrators, and NetSuite developers for NetSuite customers, partners, and NetSuite integration partners. We're very much embedded in the NetSuite ecosystem ourselves as we attend user groups around the world on a regular basis, sponsor key events such as Suite World, and hold our own events for NetSuite organizations and job seekers throughout the year. We have over 130 recruitment consultants based in offices across the US, Europe, and Asia Pacific. And since 2018, we've placed over 6,000 professionals in their dream NetSuite roles. We've worked to build our exclusive database of over 38,000 NetSuite professionals, with a lot of those working exclusively with us, meaning we have access to candidates that other recruitment firms simply don't have access to. So no matter where in the world you are, whether you've just implemented NetSuite as a startup or you have a team that simply needs a contractor to help integrate the latest add-on, then we have experience no matter where in the world you are or how far you are on your journey. Now we've covered the introductions, I'll give you an idea of what the Anderson Frank Careers and Hiring Guide actually is, for those of you who don't already know. Previously known as the Anderson Frank Salary Survey, it's an annual publication and is the biggest independent study of NetSuite professionals you will find anywhere. Last year, we rebranded to become the Careers and Hiring Guide, so that it includes more insight from NetSuite experts, as well as including our renowned self-reported survey information from NetSuite professionals worldwide. Respondents span a multitude of industries and roles, from juniors starting their journey with NetSuite to senior leaders with years of experience working with the platform. We've worked hard to ensure our report is as inclusive as possible, compiling the opinions of NetSuite professionals from a diverse range of personal and professional backgrounds. This year's publication is made up of over 30,000 data points, covering a range of subjects, including what perks and benefits professionals value most, certifications, products, salaries, and market trends. The latest report will be available to download free of charge from our website in a few weeks' time, but we have exclusive access to some of the key findings from this year's report ahead of the release that I'm going to share with you today. The NetSuite community has changed drastically over the last few years, so it's more important than ever that we adapt accordingly in order to be in pole position to hire or retain the strongest talent available. So what exactly makes you a valuable candidate? While this question was aimed at salary increase, it also gives us valuable information on what factors will help NetSuite professionals stand out most in the current job market. Being a valuable employee also stands out to make you a valuable hire for potential employers. So understanding what is the most desirable in an employee, contract or permanent, can give professionals the edge they need to find the job best suited to their skill set and personal needs. It's no surprise that experience is one of the most valuable things you can have in your professional armory. To put it simply, any employer is going to want someone with the experience in their field, especially in the NetSuite ecosystem, where skilled professionals can be the difference between a successful implementation or delayed results. While this is something that you cannot change overnight, it's something any professional should bear in mind, and is why making sure you have an up-to-date resume is so important. The experience goes hand in hand with exposure and can be your saving grace if you lack a few years compared to your competition. Being able to detail how you carried out a larger project and all of the technical knowledge you implemented along the way shows that what you lack in experience, you make up for in exposure and knowledge, showing your potential rather than your limitation. With this, you will also show what soft skills you have too. Remember, a valuable employee expands to more than just someone who gets the job done. It's someone who works well with their team, with clear and professional communication and determination to get the job done. Moving on nicely from understanding how you can be desirable is how satisfied currently employed NetSuite professionals are in their role. This information is useful for both employers and candidates to benchmark what more you could be doing or what you should be expecting from your workplace, current or future. This snapshot gives employees a good idea of the sorts of things your peers like or dislike about their current job, which can be great when trying to understand your own feelings about your workplace. It can be both reassuring and alarming in equal measure to see that your unhappiness is matched by others in the ecosystem. Take training and certifications, for example. This scores lowest in terms of employee satisfaction. If this is important to you and you feel your needs currently aren't being met by your employer, it's likely that others in your workplace feel similarly too. With greater representation, an employer is more likely to boost their offering, as no one wants a cohort who feel they're held back in their personal and professional development. Similarly, this data also alerts professionals as to what they should be watching out for when looking at their next opportunity. Are their career progression pathways set out from the start? Is your potential employer encouraging development and giving you the resources to do this? Are they willing to pay for certifications? For employers, looking at current satisfaction rates is the only way you can stand to minimize your attrition rates in the long run. Looking at this data, are you offering these things to your employees? In areas of greater dissatisfaction, such as training and development options, progression and work-life balance, think of how these are reflected in your management. The way we work has changed drastically over the past few years, and you need to move alongside that. Professionals want an employer that helps them grow and gives them the freedom to do this. Taking these factors into account can make the difference between standing out against your competitors or feeling the effects of employee fallout later down the line. Now, let's take a closer look at certifications within the ecosystem. Despite less than a third of professionals holding a certification, 81% believe that they add value to them as a candidate. So it makes sense to invest in your team's developments here, right? If you can show staff their individual value to your business, they're going to be engaged and look towards you to provide them with new opportunities rather than towards the other agencies that can and are doing just that. With 65% of employers paying for employee certifications, it's worth considering that you're basically in the bottom third of organizations if a staff member is looking at certifications as a part of their own personal development. With professionals valuing them so much, it seems a simple way to improve their satisfaction with you as an employer, and also helps you to sell your organizations to professionals looking to move on somewhere that will better support their development. It's important to not only understand where professionals are satisfied in their working lives, but also the factors that push them to change lanes. With only 56% of permanent employees expecting to remain at their current employer in the coming year, employers need to act quickly to retain what talent they can. Looking at the data, of course, we can see that salary is a large impact. This will always be the case in any sector and can be the the news most businesses don't want to hear in the face of financial hardship. However, it's interesting to note that a lack of new challenges is on par with this, showing that if employers wanted to retain talent, they do not necessarily have to provide a financial incentive. Instead, by tackling issues such as a lack of new opportunities and feeling underutilized, employees will naturally see an increase in salary. We are in a post-pandemic world where we are working from across the globe, from at-home offices to corporate buildings in different time zones and languages. It's important as an employer to continue to take this into consideration. While remote working has evolved for many into a hybrid work structure, for many, those who have not embraced the changes stand to not only lose talent, but also miss out on new talent in the future. This goes hand in hand with work-life balance. So if you cannot give flexibility to your team, you stand to lose valuable talent to those that embrace the new normal. Businesses that can and are offering these things have the best chance of standing out in a job market more competitive than ever and add value to your business. Being able to market things such as remote working and career prospects early in your hiring efforts ensures that you are reaching top level talent and have the measures in place to ensure their happiness with you in the long run. One of the first ports of call for employers when it comes to attracting and retaining talent is what benefits and perks packages you currently have to offer. 92% of permanent employees tell us that workplace benefits are crucial when deciding if they will accept a job. So it shows just how important they are. Of course, this naturally changes to reflect the world we live in, but looking at the past few years, that's more prevalent than ever. We are in a transitional phase when it comes to benefits, as perks such as hybrid working and a company laptop no longer feel like a perk and are more of an essential tool for working. With this in mind, 53% of professionals would pursue a new role to work from home, showing that while it is becoming a normalized working dynamic, it is also a great way to ensure you are getting top talent. Not only does it widen your talent pool, making your search global, it also ensures the talent that you do find will be able to work in an environment that suits their individual needs. While this won't appeal to all, having this as an option appeals to a diverse range of people with different needs and different strengths. Financial incentives, such as better bonus offerings, more paid time off, and retirement saving plans are also a large motivator for employees to jump ship to a new role. So, while budgets are tighter than ever, businesses need to evaluate where they can allocate their resources. It is more important to allocate more resources to attracting new talent, or should retaining who you already have be your priority? One place we are seeing the full effect of hiring crisis, such as the skills and talent gap, is in the hiring process. Hiring managers are struggling to find talent in a market that's more competitive than ever before. 63% of employers we surveyed reported that the biggest challenge that impacts their hiring efforts is the present lack of qualified professionals within the marketplace, leaving employers going above and beyond to retain what talent they do have. The hiring process, which would have previously taken a business a month to tackle, is now taking over double that. And in most instances, this is without finding a candidate that fully encompasses their needs. In fact, the average time to find a new NetSuite hire has now risen to 4 months, which is pretty scary when you think about how quickly projects can see a return on income, as to how much business growth can potentially be missed by a 4-month delay when someone leaves your organization. Similarly, 51% of hiring managers state that the time-consuming nature of hiring new talent is their biggest challenge when it comes to the digital skills gap, leading to a hemorrhage of resources and time that could be allocated elsewhere. Ultimately, time spent looking for those needles in the haystack is costing your business money. So what tactics are businesses using to try and get ahead? Well, employers are having to adapt quickly to still be seen as competitive amongst others in their sector. This has led to many businesses reevaluating what they have on offer to employees, existing or new. The biggest strategy employers are implementing is developing what training they have on offer, with 49% of hiring managers prioritizing this change. This not only stands to strengthen existing talent, but also ensures that any new talent you onboard can then develop their skills from the outset. This opportunity is not only valuable to your business, and your combined knowledge as a NetSuite team, but also positions yourself as an employer that values personal improvement, something a competitive candidate will be attracted to. Another factor employers have had to consider is the way employees work. One way to widen your talent pool is by re-evaluating what working methods you offer. While the pandemic shifted us all into a giant remote work experiment, the reality is that it worked. It wasn't for everyone. Some want to remain in the office full time, others want a hybrid approach. But the reality is that a remote workforce is productive and allows us to tackle the skills gap, appealing to a more diverse range of potential candidates. There can be an almost infinite number of reasons a person is unable to commute to and work a full-time site-based role. So allowing employees to work in a manner that best suits them, whether that is working from an office, from home, or simply choosing what hours suit them best, widens your accessibility to professionals, regardless of the location. 44% of employers we surveyed have embraced this change, which has in turn positioned them as a worthwhile employer. Other factors such as salary increases and developing benefits packages have also proved successful for many businesses, with 44% and 26% of employers implementing these changes respectively. Yet in the face of a crisis that is already costing businesses thanks to the rising market rates for the talent, it's a question of if budgets will allow new employers to put their money where their mouth is and being creative with things like benefits when your budget may be restricted. If businesses want to attract top NetSuite talent, they need to have a working environment in place that not only allows them to work to their potential, but also keeps them safe and protected. That doesn't just mean ensuring the fire alarms are in order. It means fostering an inclusive space where everyone can flourish, no matter their personal circumstances. Everyone, no matter their race, gender, age, ability, background, or identity, should be given an equal chance to succeed and be recognized on merit and potential alone. A diverse workplace is a workplace strengthened by professionals with different skill sets, and in a world where remote working is the new reality, you simply can't afford to let unconscious bias get in the way of valuable talent. Looking at our report from last year to the figures we have today, it's clear that DEI initiatives are improving, with 82% of respondents stating that people of all cultures and backgrounds are respected and valued in their organization, closely followed by 77% of current employers who believe everyone is able to succeed regardless of their background or characteristics. While the numbers are high, they aren't 100% showing that there is always more we can be doing to ensure that our workforces are a space that encourages and celebrates diversity. We can't get there without reflecting on what we lack and discussing what we can do better. As a professional, you need to be questioning what more you can do in your workplace. Is there a characteristic that is underrepresented in your workforce? Does one gender dominate in higher roles? What age range is your cohort primarily? Do you represent as many backgrounds as you could? Following from this, I think it's good to solely look at equity in the workplace. Greater gender parity is something every workplace should strive for. While almost 3/4 of professionals believe that their employer champions equal rights, the data we collected alerts to a wider issue. While 60% of applicants we surveyed believe that men and women are paid equally, a whopping 70% of this figure were male. If we want to create an ecosystem where women are allowed to progress at the rate of their male colleagues and be treated with the same level of respect and expectation, we need to become comfortable discussing the topic. There are many pathways you can take, whether that be reevaluating who you promote to represent all genders of all ages, or promoting industry-wide initiatives such as women in tech among your workforce. Employers should do all they can to support females, not only in their work, but encourage this treatment among their teams too. In the face of a talent gap like never before, you stand to miss valuable talent if you don't allow everyone equal opportunities, something no business can afford. So before we wrap up, what are some of the key takeaways from today that can be put into place as you move forward and try to find talent as well as creating and retaining it? As we've talked about, training creates a more sustainable workforce and is beneficial for everyone. For employers, the longer an employee is with you, then the more invested they are in you achieving your business goals. But they also understand your challenges better as well. A new hire will take time to understand your sector or even your own organization. So cross-training and upskilling will always help you avoid the time it takes for someone to get up to speed. Positioning yourself as an employer that values learning and development will not only increase your retention rates, but will also become a massive selling point when it comes to attracting talent as well, and benefits more than just the employee. Creating an inclusive and supportive culture is something every business should prioritize anyway. And if it's not there, it not only stands to impact retention rates, but also productivity as a whole. In fact, 35% of respondents would consider a new role if their working environment was detrimental to their happiness and development. So it's a pretty important factor when it comes to retaining and attracting new staff. People aren't just leaving you to get a bump in their salary. It could be as simple as finding new ways to connect employees through team building activities, or letting go of the reins and giving employees more autonomy over their working day. If you have an inclusive and supportive company culture, your staff will want to remain as part of your journey. One trend we are seeing more and more is the search for job security, an obvious demand after years of job uncertainty and potential economic recession ahead. While none of us can guarantee that to our employees completely, we can create clear pathways that give staff a long-term sense of purpose and belonging. If employers want to retain talent, they need to consider what progression opportunities they can offer and be ready to accommodate these discussions with their teams. It not only shows that you understand and respect the hard work of your employees, but that you also value their journey on a personal level. If you can't show that, it's likely they will look to continue that journey somewhere else. So for candidates, we'll go over a few key things you should bear in mind, whether you're in current employment or looking for your next role. One thing we can say for certain from this presentation is that training and certifications are paving the way for the future of NetSuite. It's clear that candidates want to upskill their skill set and have a clear hunger for knowledge. However, over half of the candidates we surveyed remain uncertified. While employers need to remain competitive to reign superior in the talent market, candidates should be doing all they can to do this too. Becoming certified is the best way to do this. It not only solidifies your expertise, but also shows valuable soft skills such as strong work ethic and adaptability to an ever-evolving technology. I think one of the key takeaways from employees for me is opening channels of communication with employers. Communication is key to change in any capacity, and with talent and skills gaps making hiring and retaining talent even harder, employers are willing to take that extra step to retain talent. If you feel that EDI initiatives could be taken a step further, or that certain training could benefit your team, be sure to share this with your employer. It not only stands to better your experience, but also boosts your value to the organization as an employer that develops not only their experience, but that of others too. Talent is more valuable than ever in the NetSuite community, so use this to your advantage. Thanks for your time, everyone. We will now be taking questions via the chat. So now over to some questions. So there's a couple coming in. So let me start trying to answer some of these for you guys. So one question we've got is, what impact has COVID had on the ecosystem as a whole, and has it changed how companies hire? So that is a very good question, and obviously I'd be lying if I said it didn't, right? So it's no understatement that the pandemic has reshaped all of our lives and the way we work. It definitely has for me. It was an obvious hurdle for many businesses, but for the most part, companies have come out on the other side better equipped than ever, and we definitely have as well. So hopefully you guys on the call, you've also come out better equipped than ever before. So one thing to note from a recruitment perspective is not only are processes faster, but they are also better suited to everyone involved. While remote and hybrid work posed as experimental solutions, they have instead built the foundations of the future and how we're going to continue to work. And it allowed speed and ease like nothing has ever done before. So for example, back to recruitment, in terms of interviews, a process that once had back and forth communication, and especially when you were interviewing on a large scale, could become disorganized very quickly, can now be automated to cater to both employer and candidate preferences. So what was once dependent on traditional practices can now be conducted via Zoom or Teams, minimizing the need for face-to-face interviews. So as a result, you not only stand to reach a wider talent pool, but also communicate more efficiently than we ever thought possible. In the coming year, we'll see the same things that other businesses will too. More remote working. It has worked in times of necessity, and the demand is still just as strong as it works to create greater gender parity with the added flexibility for parents and mothers in particular. The digital skills gap is widening and the industry desperately needs people. So opening the sector up to home workers is vital. And COVID has proved that this can be done effectively. So hopefully that answers that one. So we've got another one here. So what makes the NetSuite ecosystem so attractive to candidates? That's a good question. Obviously, we're all here to talk about NetSuite. So the way that the tech is evolving, if you want to be at the front of the development, the answer is in the cloud. So everyone wants to be in demand, and that's an opportunity that it brings tenfold. NetSuite is seeing a skills gap like never before because of the constant evolution. And that means as a community, we are constantly looking for fresh talent who want to learn and develop alongside us. So it's not only an opportunity to progress professionally, but also to be a part of a community that wants you to succeed and will help you get there. NetSuite have some great online resources for anyone wishing to become part of the cloud community as well. So it's definitely one of the forefronts that everyone wants to get involved with. So this came up in the presentation, and I'm pleased to see that it's come up as one of the questions. So what recommendations do we have for tackling inequality in the ecosystem? So creating a safe and supportive space is something we all need to be a part of, no matter our place in that ecosystem. Whether that means evaluating your communication channels as an employer or how you communicate as an employee, we can't incite change if we don't effectively communicate the problem. So that's the crucial part. It's also about looking at yourself, your role, and your organization and seeing what more could be done at entry level. There's a lot of guidance available online to help guide you with this, whether you want to become a better ally or simply want to understand inequality in the ecosystem better. Okay. So follow on from that. What steps can I take to improve diversity on my team? So when it comes to hiring, looking at things like gender neutral wording in job ads and diversifying your candidate pool are things you should prioritize. I'd be happy to connect with anyone on this call who wants to look at this as a one-on-one basis, as it is different for every organization. But generally, those are great places to start. My best piece of advice would be to look at your company culture. Does it include everyone? Do people feel comfortable and supported and that they can flourish? If you can't answer that question with an immediate yes, then improving your hiring efforts will only be a short-term fix to a broader issue. And the only way you can achieve that is by listening to your employees, doing what is suggested en masse, which will likely have little impact on your own company. No one knows better than your employees what needs to be done to make their working environment safer and more productive for them. Having an infrastructure that values all opinions and actions feedback is necessary for improving diversity efforts, whether it's a quick one-to-one via Teams to allow for confidential communication or a periodical survey giving people a space to express their concerns will go a long way and significantly improve employee satisfaction. So that is something that we do in-house here as well. So as I said, if any of you guys want to connect one-to-one on this, please feel free to reach out and I'm happy to have a conversation with you all. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, so again, this came up. So are certifications the best way to support your team? So let's cover that. So the reality is NetSuite professionals want to develop their skill set, and certifications are the way to do that. Despite less than a third of professionals currently holding a certification, 81% believe that they add value to them as candidates. So it's not only makes sense to invest in your team's development, but it's crucial to overcome the skills and talent gap. The reality is that certifications not only increase the skill set within your team, but also the skill set of the ecosystem as a whole. So yes, I would say that certifications are one of the best ways to support your team. Of course, you can do other things like ring-fence dedicated L&D time and provide training for your cohort. But the more certified professionals in the sector, the better. It's something to take into consideration, not only when looking at your current team, but also when budgeting for future hires, as this will help you stand apart from competition, and it will probably give you an edge. As from speaking to candidates every day, I think myself and my team can testify that they do value training sometimes over salary. So hopefully that one helps you guys there. And then I think we've got time for one more. So I'll just answer the last question. So from what I can see, so here we go. I lack experience in tech, but want to start my NetSuite journey. What would you recommend my next steps are? So experience is like gold in the tech community, especially in a job market that is more competitive than ever. So you stand to be disadvantaged if you aren't willing to go the extra mile. That means the things that can't be taught. So soft skills like dedication and an eagerness to learn. This is something any employer will be searching for in a potential new hire and can say a lot more than a list of qualifications from a candidate with no drive for development. Luckily for you, resources are readily available online for anyone without experience, whether finding free training online, attending user groups, community groups, events, reading blogs, or trying to understand the ecosystem is definitely the first places that I would suggest you start. So knowledge is experience, and that's what you guys need to go and get. So I'll just wait and see if we get any more. Okay, so that's it on the question time, guys. So I'll just wrap up quickly for all of you there. So I just want to say thanks for giving us some of your time and tuning in. What we covered today is a snippet of what is available in our report, which will be available from andersonfrank.com from the 24th of October. So be sure to sign up now to ensure you get it first. Our website also contains plenty more news and advice on NetSuite, plus our candidate and job search tools, which allow you to view the latest NetSuite professionals and most recent roles that are available. If you wish to reach out for further help or advice on NetSuite hiring in the meantime, then please feel free to get in touch with me or use our contact page on the website. But again, thank you for your time, and we hope this presentation was valuable to you, no matter your position in the ecosystem.